Bystander involvement in social media and its effects on increasing number of reported sexual violence acts on campus. Yadira Torres, Texas Tech University. Abstract. Sexual violence on campus is an issue affecting the mental stability and academic success of many college students today. In year 2016, more than one-fourth of the total sexual violence victims in Lubbock, Texas, were between the ages of 18 and 25. Fisher shares that it is estimated that for every 1,000 women attending a college or university, there are 35 incidents of rape each academic year. To approach the topic of sexual violence on its own is reaching too far. Therefore, the topic has been redirected to focus solely on sexual violence occurring on college campuses. Through the perspective of nursing, psychology, and media, the topic of sexual violence on campus is approached to get a better understanding of the bystander's role in reporting sexual violence. Because of the complex nature of the topic, an interdisciplinary approach is taken towards addressing the issue. The use of social media is a factor that does not seem to be prominent in the disciplinary insights. There is a conflict between the phenomenon used in psychology and the phenomenon used in media. Through the interdisciplinary research process, common ground is found and a bridge to understanding is created through bystander activism. In conclusion, the topic would benefit from engaging in activism to increase bystander involvement in reporting sexual violence on campus. Introduction. Why is it important? This interdisciplinary approach is most important because though many have approached the topic, they have not created a solution, and therefore there are still multiple consequences happening today that affect students and university campuses. Most importantly, sub-issues such as student academic success, mental well-being, and bystander protection were discovered to be issues related to the topic in existing research. Even though the issue is already a broad topic, it can lead to other problems such as university reputation, violation of student rights, and community support. Therefore, it is important to address the issue and move towards a solution. Why an interdisciplinary approach? An interdisciplinary approach is the best approach for the topic because of its complex nature. Repko states that a problem is ripe for interdisciplinary study and researchable in an interdisciplinary sense when it is complex or if more than one author has approached it from opposing disciplines. Repko also shares that an interdisciplinary approach is also justified if no resolution has been achieved by a single discipline in reference to the issue at hand. Multiple disciplines have approached the problem and have developed a similar understanding, but not a comprehensive one. The topic of sexual violence on campus has been considered by many disciplines, but for some reason too many factors lead to generalized ideas as to why the problem remains. An interdisciplinary approach may be able to solve the problem because it will create a new direction to the topic through existing research. Analyzing all of it and seeing how it is relevant to the topic will shed some light as to what is missing. How an interdisciplinary approach may be able to solve the problem. The interdisciplinary approach is made with one question in mind, and that is, how can social media help empower bystander involvement in reporting sexual violence on campus? An interdisciplinary approach can help solve this problem by using past research to make an innovative approach using social media. To neglect past findings is not the purpose of interdisciplinary research. Instead, conflicts must be identified and then broken down through the interdisciplinary process. Interdisciplinary nature. Who does it affect, and what in the research led to determine the complexity of the topic? The interdisciplinary nature of sexual violence on campus as a topic is analyzed to determine if a topic is not only researched by different disciplines, but if it affects different people. And after an initial search for existing research, it was determined that multiple disciplines have approached the problem. Upon initial search, a focused problem was discovered, and therefore the direction of the topic of sexual violence was taken towards a specific age group. The number of reported rape or sexual assault victims from ages 12 and above is 293,066 each year. Voice of Hope found that 30.79% of total victims fell between ages of 18 and 25 in Lubbock, Texas. Traditional students range from 18 to 23 years of age and usually account for the highest percentage of undergraduate population in a university. Sexual violence, as defined by many, is any sexual act that is committed or attempted by another person without freely given consent of the victim or against someone who is unable to consent or refuse. The focus of this paper was directed towards sexual violence on campus because traditional students fit into the 30.79% range and may be at a higher risk of sexual assault on campus. To further explain the interdisciplinary nature, let us introduce disciplinary perspectives that were used and how they were chosen. Though many were considered, ultimately 3 were chosen, which include nursing, psychology, and media. The focus question was formed as research was conducted. The majority of the articles found for the topic of sexual violence were aimed towards health. Though health is a discipline on its own, the consequences of sexual violence seem to be prominent in each article. It is then that the separation between psychology and nursing was made. However, the question remained of whether or not the disciplines were different enough to take an interdisciplinary approach, and it was getting in the way of identifying each of them as individual disciplinary perspectives. Because of the differences of approaches, it was found that nursing is more focused on the physical implications of sexual assault, whereas psychology takes a closer look at behavioral and mental stability. It wasn't until the role of bystander in sexual violence was introduced that the final discipline, which is media, was declared as a valid disciplinary perspective. An interdisciplinary perspective is taken but is not successful without finding unique disciplinary perspectives that will aid in integration. A disciplinary perspective is a discipline's unique view of the topic and its way of communicating as well as supporting disciplinary thoughts through research. Findings and conclusions. The lack of reports from victims themselves can be increased through bystander involvement. This can increase through the use of social media and activism. Because victims don't use formal reporting services, it is likely that they go to professors or classmates. Unfortunately, not all professors and peers are prepared to handle this issue. Therefore, it is likely that it goes unnoticed. By engaging in social media, sexual violence activism, and educating others on the difference between bystander intent and efficiency, we are likely to address the situation before it happens. So the discipline of psychology argues that intimate partner violence happens because of lack of a relationship experience It is also important to consider the role of bystanders. Seeing the signs of intimate partner violence can provide an external approach to the situation. Often, victims see the behavior as normal, but bystanders can help by bringing an external perspective that will help in reporting and avoiding the issue before it escalates to sexual violence. Sane nurses can also benefit from bystander involvement because they can use their platform to educate others. The discipline of nursing suffers in achieving a solution because their discipline is limited in medical and physical issues. Though they communicate with law enforcement and others, they could use the help of bystanders to help solve this issue. The complexity of the problem is so big, and nurses are doing a great job of attempting to have interdisciplinary approach, but lack of other perspectives gets in the way of true integration. In media, bystanders play a role once again through the use of social network and mobile devices.